Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Football Show with No Name. My name is Clint. I am one of your hosts for this evening's venture down the COVID-filled streets of the NFL.
It's like
The other
Compton.
day, I heard a number, 96
Yeah.
players tested positive in that day. We talked about this in our group chat. Is Ian add to that group chat? If not, why not? And let's make that happen. If
I am not in that group
okay,
chat.
Ferg, make that happen. All right. So speaking of Ferg, how you doing, sir? It's good to see you. Good to see your
It
face.
is great. It's great to see you guys. How was Christmas? Here's one of my Christmas gifts. Still got the bow on it. I've been drinking out of it, but you know.
Yes. Everything's good. Everything's good, man. We're all holding on, and it was a great Christmas, and Santa was too good to me, golf stuff wise, and I got some whiskey, so some hard to get whiskey, so that was nice.
Liquor.
That was nice. Yeah, so a double rye rendezvous from High West, which I very much enjoy. So, so I can't wait to try that in a few days. So, how you doing, Ian? How's things, brother?
Things are good. Still COVID free since I don't play in the NFL. If I played in the NFL, I would probably have COVID at this point.
Definitely.
Had a good weekend in the playoffs. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit.
Yep. We'll get into that in a bit and save the best for last. Miss Lauren, how are you doing?
I had a great. I'm out of all season long, so as far as DFS, I had a great time over the weekend. I did pretty well, and like I was saying, the COVID situation is awesome for DFS.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
You get guys so cheap.
You are a degenerate gambler taking advantage of sick people.
Actually, I should throw. Somebody was asking me today what DFS is. So that's daily for people that are asking. It's daily fantasy, so it's DraftKings and FanDuel. DraftKings is PPR and FanDuel is standard.
Right. Yeah, and we'll dive in a little bit, a lot to DFS in a little while. So let's talk about how everybody ended up last weekend. So this is most people's championship weekend. This coming weekend. So last week was the semifinals. If you're in one of those unfortunate leagues that's out there that's playing till week 18, I feel bad. But anyway, so last week in the semifinals, I'll start in our league of record that I'm in with Mr. Ferg here down there, Big Jeff, as he's referred. I won. I don't know how. Patchwork lineup, making 5-6 waiver wire moves, but one of them paid off in Mr. Justin Jackson. So Justin Jackson ended up with 30 points. He had 8 receptions on 9 targets. I mean, doing 98 yards, and he got it done. Him and Aaron Rodgers, and who else did I have, Ferg? That had a lot of points.
You had everybody.
No.
AJ Brown.
No, gosh, I wish.
Let's take a look at his team.
I did enough. How about that? I did enough to win, and now I was the number 2 seed coming in. Jonathan, who was on the first episode of the show, he was the number 1 seed coming in, and we're playing each other. We're 2 of the original members of this league. So that's why the question mark of champ, because we're playing this week for the Hoofnagel Championship.
Good luck to you, man.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm struggling with my flex spot. And we can get into that in a little while. Ferg and I have been going back and forth about it for a day or so. So we'll get into that in a little bit. So,
Clint, how many times have you won that league?
Twice.
Twice in 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, okay. This is the one that everybody wants to win, Ian. This is the one that everybody wants to win.
All right, Ferg, how many times have you got that one?
You're on mute, bud. Jeffrey, you're on mute. He can't hear us.
I love the hand movement, though. I can't wait to hear what he's saying.
Nope.
All right. So
I was a fantasy noob when they brought me in, and I took Reggie Bush with my very first fantasy pick.
Wow.
Yet Reggie Bush took us to the championship. I inscribed my name on our official trophy, and then I think I'm kind of like the Buffalo Bills. I think me and Clint have met up in the championship before. I think I have been to this championship at least 4 to 5 times, and then took an L on that final Sunday or that Monday night. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's competitive. This is not your no shout outs to Lauren's nephews and stuff, but this is down dirty competitive right here. Like Clint talking about making 19 waiver claims the weekend before championship. It's like that all year. Like when Monday night goes off, you better be on it. Especially with this COVID stuff, you got to be on it. Because you're like, I'll just pick up whatever, play them on Thursday. Nah.
Yeah. Look,
you'll be playing Matt Breida.
We could talk. Look, I ain't playing Matt Breida. I ain't going that far. But look, after we talk to after we find out how Ian and Lauren says she's out. So after we find out how Ian did, we could talk about playing defense on the waiver wire if you want to, Ferg. So we can definitely dive into a little bit of that. So Ian, how did you fare last weekend?
So I fared pretty well. I did okay. I did pretty well. I want to embellish in one of them. So Jeff and I are in another league that is commissioned by our friend JM, who is in Lauren and Jeff and I's legal record. He commissions a league on Sleeper. And this is the league that I have. My first 4 draft picks have been on IR all season. Well, most of the season. I've lost Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, DeAndre Hopkins, and Calvin Ridley. Somehow finished that league as the number 1 seed and advanced to the championship with people like Travis Homer and AJ Green starting for me.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't understand. I'm projected to lose. I don't think I'm going to pull out another one, but very proud of that league.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Congrats on that one.
And we're coming
it's
back.
All about management, Ian. It's all about management.
Made a lot of good waiver wire pickups. It's a lot about management there. So that turned out to be a really good one.
Well, just like we were talking about before we came on the air, what I did on the waiver wire, right? So I got Rex Burkhead.
I got Felix.
Who were the other ones? What's the running back name?
Boston
Scott.
Dari.
Yes.
We don't know his last name. Dari, the guy from the Jags.
Right. Right. So I need to start. I might need to start one of them in my flex spots, but I was primarily playing defense. Like, do I start Justin Jackson or one of those guys? Right. Justin Jackson with a healthy Austin Eckler or one of those guys.
I would do one of those. I would probably Dari's going up against the Patriots, which is scary.
Exactly.
The Eagles run the ball so much, but I don't know that Boston Scott has that PPR potential that Miles Sanders and or Jordan Howard carry. I think Kenny.
Well, Miles Sanders isn't playing, and Jordan Howard may not play.
Yeah, Howard has the stinger.
Right.
Sanders has the hands, which is the only reason why Boston Scott is carrying any value. Right. I think Kenneth Gainwell might be the one to carry in Philly because he's got that PPR potential. Anyway, so I'm in 2 other leagues in Sleeper that I made the championship on. I have my longest running league, which is on NFL Fantasy, made the championship in that one. I'm in the semifinals in another NFL league. That's one of those week 17, 18 leagues, pain in the ass. The way I look at it is 1 extra week of fantasy football. I get to play in week 18. And Jeff, most importantly, in the Wakandian Alliance, me and Merrill made it to the finals with me and the commissioner going head to head. And I'm really excited for that game. That's the one that Jeff begged me to join like 3 days before his game. I need
offered this man a olive branch because he brought me into this league, and I say, come play with my family, my friends from 30, 40 years. What
That's
does he
not what
do? Come through, just smack the shit out of everybody else, steal the money right out of my kids' mouths, and now he's playing for the championship.
What's
Playing
the
for the
projections look like, Ian? What are the projections
The
look like with you and
projection in that game, I am projected to win.
He is.
The commish is playing Travis Kelce, which I like because I don't see that health value. I'm projected to win 176 to 155. Would you like to hear what the lineup is? All right, so I'm starting Justin Herbert, Brandon Ayuk, Amari Cooper, Nick Chubb, Michael Carter, although I did pick up Boston Scott, but I have Michael Carter in there right now. George Kittle, Cooper Kupp, Antonio Brown, who is another player that saved me last week. Justin Jackson and Antonio Brown in multiple leagues. Dan Carlson, and I picked up Chicago's defense for this week. I love them hosting the Giants.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Hosting the Giants. That's a sneaky good pick. Dude, that's a hell of a lineup. You got to start Michael Carter though. Like if it's a PPR league, you got to start Michael Carter, right?
I would start Michael Carter with so much more confidence if Mike White were the quarterback. Mike White is just that dump off god.
Right, but how many points did Michael Carter have for you last week?
11, 13.
And how many points did he have for you the week before? Probably 11. How many points did he have for you for the week before? Probably 11.
Well, he was out. He was on,
right.
on IR for a few weeks.
And then before he went out, he was 20 points, 16 points, 11 points.
He had a couple of really, really good weeks, which is
right. But he's consistently double digits when he's in there in a full point PPR league.
And he's projected at 11.8. So
yeah, so I mean, if you're wanting him, if all you're needing him for is to get double digits, then I mean that's definitely the play.
If he hits
over those other guys, because if the same question that I was asking, if I had Michael Carter in that situation, it would be Michael Carter all day long.
Well, now I got a question on Michael Carter for Jeff because this was awesome when you brought this up in our chat. Tell us why you would take Michael Carter over Saquon, because I would also, but that started some crazy when you were talking about. I mean, I agree. I think Saquon, I wouldn't draft him. Period.
Let's just start with this. Saquon is washed. He's washed at best. On his best draft day next year, if you take him above as your RB2, then you're crazy. Anything above that, like. We had what was the names? I think we started with 10, and then I think I dropped like 17 names of running backs that I would take before Barkley. I don't have time to scroll back through because that group chat has messages going like 24/7 all day because we're all in different time zones, I think. But Barkley, he's washed, and he sent me to the river. I was gonna jump back to Ian trying to win our family league here. He put up damn near 200 points last week.
197.
Now, my cousin Justin just jumped into the chat saying that Cooper killed him last week. But Ian's team, and I'm just I went back and looked at the score, and I was like, dang, how did you lose by 43 points, Justin? How did that happen? He was dead. He died once James Robinson got hurt. Then that's when he had 1 point. Because he had Devontae, Dak went the fuck off, Jamar Chase went off, he snuck in Madison, and I'm thinking, okay, he's good. Now he had St. Brown on the bench, and I screamed like the last 3 weeks, play St. Brown. Doesn't matter. If anything, St. Brown is we were talking about this in another chat I'm in, he's perfect
the target
fantasy wide receiver. He's on a shitty team. They have nobody else to throw the ball through.
With a shitty quarterback.
It doesn't matter if he doesn't score a touchdown because he gets fucking 17 goddamn targets a game. But
he's a good one for DFS. He's cheap every week, and I put him in pretty much every week.
Is he still cheap in DFS?
Not as cheap, probably. So I actually did not start Michael Carter in that league, Jeff, last week.
And he scored 14 points.
Because I picked up Justin Jackson, who scored 36.
Like I said, Ian's team as
I mean,
he
you
has
did
been
right with the
timely
Justin
all
Jackson
year.
for sure.
Either Ian is an awesome fantasy player, I will give him his prop, or he has that Marty McFly sports almanac from somewhere hidden in his house.
You have the
This
great
dude-
sports almanac with you,
Okay,
Ian?
The
so
great-
Let's
Oh
see
my
it.
god! Every time I watch that
19
movie, I'm like, why
This
is
is
that
how
not?
it's
1950 through
so
2000.
if you're
Yep.
playing Ian's team, and I tell you, if I'd have told you Saturday night, George Kittle's going to score 4 points, you would have said, you might be kind of in trouble a little bit, and you're starting Ayuk. So then I would be like, yeah, I'm going to go against him. He's got Ayuk, and Kittle's only going to score 4. I'll take that bet. So Ayuk, who was on our names that we don't talk about earlier in the year, he has brought himself back to relevance. He scores 14 points.
Yes, he does.
Yeah,
Then
man.
Amari Cooper, who shitted me out and sent me out of home on the playoffs in every other league that I'm in.
He
And
did
he
well.
cried like a bitch.
He scored
Oh, he
16.
cried.
He was great.
Then Cup,
He was great
had
last
Cup,
week.
who didn't even hit his projection. Cup was actually had a bad game for Cup. Then Herbert
Only 21.
had a bad game for Herbert. But
Hey, look,
Jackson
I
didn't
won
get the fuck
because Cooper
off.
Kupp didn't score a touchdown. Now,
Antonio
I'm in the
Brown.
finals because he didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah. Philadelphia defense smacked the shit out of them. The fighting
Thanks.
Daniel Joneses. I mean,
Dallas defense was
he just had the
either.
perfect lineup to play
Dallas
this team.
defense is good.
Justin's team had James Robinson scored 1 point. His fucking
Cole Kmet.
kicker scored 1 point. I mean,
Cole Kmet scored 9.
You have Devontae Adams scored 35 points and you still take an L by 40. This is not your day. You had no shot. Devontae scores 35 and you still lose.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ferg. So do me a favor, Ferg. Pull up Lucky 13 real quick. Look
Well,
at
you know-
the matchups. Look at
you
the
know I was-
matchups.
Well, I was getting to that because that is the one championship game that I am playing in. I was going to get around to that. I wasn't going to leave you out there.
So no,
I'm in
look, do me a favor. Hold on.
championship.
Look at last week.
Okay, last
Right.
week in semifinals.
Were you playing David last week?
No, I played the commish. The commish.
Okay, so look at David's. Look at David's
But-
game.
This other team, the other semifinal was the 3
Look.
versus the 4.
Look at the
It took
quarterbacks.
210 points to win that game, and the
So
other
look
guy
at-
scored 204 points and lost.
Okay, so
Wow.
Ian and Lauren, listen to this. So the guy that lost had Joe Burrow.
He
Oh
had
my
Burrow.
gosh.
He had Chubb.
Lost.
He
What do you
had
have?
Madison. He had Waddle on Monday
50
night.
55 or 65, yeah.
He had Kansas City defense, and we play a defensive player in
How
that
did you
league.
beat him?
And his random
I
ass
didn't- that's
linebacker
not
from
me.
Green Bay scored 14 points, and he still
Right.
lost. He still lost.
Look,
What did the other team? Who did the other team have that knocked
Hold
him
on,
out?
this is even better. Watch this. The team that he lost to, they scored 210 points. He had James Robinson scoring 1 point, and
Whoa.
he started Amir Abdullah scoring 3 points, and he still put up 210 points
Who
because
do
he
you
had
have?
Andrews, he had Dak, he had Devontae, Debo
Justin
went the
Jackson.
fuck off. He had no, he didn't have Justin Jackson, but fucking Tampa Bay defense scored 41 points. They had to be like in the top
Yeah.
5 scorers in the league. They probably was the number 1 scorer outside of quarterbacks.
the Dolphins might be that too, bro.
The Dolphins were
Heck yeah, man. The Dolphins went in there and did their damn thing, man. They probably had 30
high
points.
school. It was playing a high
I
school.
mean, we was
high
playing a
school.
1-8
Yes,
team.
yes,
We were playing a
yes,
1-8
yes.
team.
That was
But it's a
like the
win.
second. Oh my god! So in my house, Notre Dame, you're not allowed to talk about. Like my dad graduated from the Air Force Academy. We all grew up in Annapolis. Like that is a bad word. So to have this fucking ass come out from Notre Dame, and I was like, all right. So second pick of the game is a pick 6. Like I was so angry. Like it's like amateur hour. And then as a Saints fan, we get very upset about things, like referees not calling illegal hits and keeping people out of the Super Bowl. So then I got pissed and nobody from work is watching. I spent a lot of time the last 2 days reading about the COVID situation, why games were postponed and they weren't. I talked to my buddy Seth, he's a big Raiders fan. Thank you, Seth. So now I'm even more pissed off. And I'm like, we had 21 guys out. You put the damn high school right down the street. I mean, I could have gone and played better.
So, Lauren, can I ask you a question? So, one of my best friends is a diehard Notre Dame fan. Okay, he lives in Durham, and he's a season ticket holder for Notre Dame. Okay.
Okay.
So, he loves the service academies. Like, he has no hate for them. So why does the Air Force have hate for them?
I can actually. So I grew up in Annapolis, and the Naval Academy is pretty close to where my dad still lives there. So a thing in Annapolis, you host midshipmen, you have like sponsor families, and they come over on weekends, whatnot. So we sponsored 5. All of them played football, and they hated Notre Dame. This was 93 to 97. They hate Notre Dame because of they just dirty players. Like there's one of my brothers, Clint. He's actually ended up being a SEAL later. He interviews guys, or he does pep talks with NFL players. I should try to get him to come on here sometime. There's like a video of him like shoving one of them that pissed him off over some chair. Like they're just dirty, and everyone hates playing them.
Hey, I mean, you're not going to get any arguments out of Ferg down here. So
let me tell you, this is how you know that I really love Lauren. Because if it was the Texans, if it was any of your Cowboys, anybody else's team, I would have been on your phone at 11:59 on Monday night talking so much fucking shit. But I called Lauren. I just called Lauren. I was like, yeah.
I didn't even say anything. Like that second pass of the game, it was like, listen, asshole, why don't you just throw it to the other team? Like, why Blake Bortles? They didn't put him in. He just
got there like he's just lucky to feel at the airport.
So I will say this though, and you guys have to agree. Like, the offensive line was trash, right? They were giving him zero time. Zero time, and they were down to like their 7th string offensive lineman or whatever. It's like they got the guy out of the stand, that doesn't have the shirt on, that has the NO on his chest.
Polly walked in out of retirement and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, it's like, I don't know. It's like how Phillip Rivers is going to look if he comes back and plays quarterback.
I swear to God, I hope Phillip Rivers comes back and plays.
I would have taken Phillip Rivers over that kid. That kid and his family. They showed him I was like, I wonder what his family thought. Like, they're all sitting there with their jerseys. And he goes out for his first pass, and it's like pick 6. Like, what does your family think now sitting there? Like, the Saints fans probably turned around.
Let me put my glasses on and my hat. Actually, I wouldn't care if my son did pick 6, because if he's playing in the NFL, that means even if the third string, he's at least making $1 million. I'm good.
That's what I was about to say. Like, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking my kid's playing in the NFL. What's yours doing?
Yeah, that kid's making $1 million. Throw 12
still got sit by all those fans because we needed that. Well, you needed the game. We needed the game, but we'll see. I don't know. Tay's back this week. He's healthy again.
Most importantly, he's got a great name. I mean, there's not a lot of Ians out there.
I didn't even think about that.
Anytime you got an Ian out there, I mean, you got to soak it up, right?
Yeah, no, he's
you got all the football acumen. He didn't get shit. You got all the juice.
My dad had nothing PG to say about him. I was like, Dad, who is this guy? And he was like, bleep, 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 bleep. So that was the end of it.
He is the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history.
Notre Dame history.
Are you serious?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
He sucks.
Yep.
It was
more
like
than Montana.
I mean, they played a lot of games, though.
More than Rick Meyer.
They hit the BCS.
Hey, what Rick Meyer like a Heisman finalist?
Rick Meyer was a first-round draft pick.
He got paid to play football in Seattle for a very long time.
Yeah, he played with first round.
He went number 2 overall. Number 1 was Drew Bledsoe.
Notre Dame quarterback.
That worked out.
Notre Dame quarterbacks and USC quarterbacks.
Yeah, see the butt fumble.
Alabama quarterbacks as well. Put them on the list too. I don't really talk about Alabama quarterbacks either.
Clint, did you just say butt fumble?
Yes.
Butt fumble.
Mark Sanchez.
I have a team name. One of my teams that's in the championship. That team name is Dirty Sanchez Butt Fumbles.
I was getting ready to say somebody's gonna have to play off the Dirty Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, it's good.
Dirty Sanchez Butt Fumblers.
Well, it's a classic, Ian. It's fun to watch over and over and over again. But Ferg said something about USC quarterbacks, and so it just made me automatically think of butt fumble and then Sam Darnold. So
Matt Leinart,
yes. So apparently, if for some odd reason you are still playing, or You may want like a sneaky, if you have the balls to pull it off and actually do it DFS play. Sam Darnold apparently is starting and playing the whole game. So
Really?
yeah, so I don't know if he has any DFS value, but apparently like Cam is not going to be playing, Walker's not going to be playing. It's going to be strictly Sam's show. They want to see what he can do.
Well, who's Carolina playing?
I don't have access to that information. Who are they playing?
Oh, yeah.
They're playing who?
Now,
The Saints.
Oh yeah, no thanks. Yeah,
I'm here.
Cancel that.
I'm here in Charlotte, but Sports Radio today said that Cam was gonna start, basically, if nothing else, so they can give him his 20-minute standing ovation and so something on. They're not really officially calling it a retirement, but they say they're gonna play like a video montage and that Cam's gonna start. Now, if Rule is really that disrespectful to not start Cam, that's really disrespectful. I mean, the $10 million makes
that would be disrespectful.
Really
I had heard that
to bring your greatest player ever back and then know that your season is shitty and not start him in the very fucking last game that he's ever going to play in that stadium.
Well, at this point, you really want to lose. You want to do what the Eagles did last year and just tank. Of course,
so
that might
play
Sam. Didn't play Cam.
Yeah. So, honestly,
then you should be playing Cam. Then if you really
can play either of them, it won't matter. You just really want to lose at this point because they got their own pick. Like the Jets and the Giants have everybody else's pick. They have their own. Get a top 8 pick out of it.
I mean, people don't like to hear this in Charlotte, but the out of the last 7 quarterbacks that the Panthers have started, there's only one undefeated quarterback that they've had, and they have him on the roster, and they won't play him.
PJ Walker.
I'm just gonna put that out there. He hasn't lost a game that he has started in, but they won't play him.
He's got a heck of an arm, man, as well. So I mean,
how many games has he started? 1?
He can sling it.
3, I believe.
Yeah, I was about to say it's definitely more than 1.
He's won more games in the last 2 years than damn Cam has. And that's a 2 different franchises.
All right, I got a random question for you guys since you brought up the butt fumble. And you don't have to answer now, but what is like one of your top favorite either football follies or like moments? The like greatest
Follies?
Something stupid that happened or like one of the greatest moments. Because I will tell you, mine will always be that onside kick at the Saints Super Bowl against Indy coming back after the half. That was awesome. And Steve Gleason, I mean, obviously.
Steve Gleason, yeah. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Gleason.
But like funny stuff. What's his face? Dropped it on the 1 yard line.
I have to think
All right,
on the
so if we're talking NFL, I got mine. I got mine for
Jerome
sure.
Simpson flipping into the end zone.
Oh yeah, that was nice. I remember that.
Who is this?
Reedsville, North Carolina, high school product. Jerome Simpson, Coastal Carolina, NFL Player of the Year. What was that, like 4 years ago? That's still like
dude, that was like 10 years ago.
5? I can't. We see it all the
that
time.
That was a long ass time ago, bro. Like
being
still. That was a long ass time
from
ago,
the
bro.
same hometown, I see it constantly.
Yes.
So
yes.
To me, it's like it just happened a few minutes ago. But.
It did not happen a few minutes ago. Mine would be I got 2 actually. One's more of a moment and one's a play. The moment I went to, my wife and I usually go to, before COVID and stuff, we traveled to go to a game, follow the Texans every year, just to a different stadium. Like we've been to Denver, we've been to Tennessee.
Oh, that's cool.
We've been to Cincinnati. So we went up to Cincinnati and it was a Monday night football game. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, it was the whole thing. JJ Watt, like the whole thing. So my wife and I were out running that day and we saw JJ Watt and she about lost her mind. But we beat them and it was awesome because they were really obnoxious fans. Because instead of who dat, they say who day.
Who day.
Right. And that shit's even more annoying than who dat, right? So it's way more annoying than that. But anyway, so my wife and I were at the game where Andre Johnson and Cortland Finnegan got into that fist fight because Cortland Finnegan's an asshat.
Nice.
And that was one of my favorite moments for sure.
All right, you just remind me. I got to do one more since I'm coming out of Baltimore. Then I was at the game when the Saints played the Ravens. It was company. I got tickets from some vendor, so I was on the Saints side. 8 rows up, 50-yard line. I saw them. That was when Drew threw his 500th pass. They brought the football. I saw him take it off the field. And so, I mean, I'm surrounded in a sea of purple. And I don't give a shit. I'm sitting there, all my stuff on. I'm screaming and cheering. And then it's freezing. Like, there's going to be a lot of traffic. The game is tied up. And we see the Ravens score that touchdown at the very end of the game. And my buddy's like, we got to go. Let's just go. I'm like, yeah, let's go. We can listen to the overtime in the car. So we're like going out M&T Bank Stadium. I see some Saints fans. So I like go over and hang out with them for a minute. These Raven fans come over. They're all in our face. They're like, oh, you guys do who that, blah, blah, blah. And then Justin Tucker goes to kick that extra point. And he fucking misses it. My buddy's like, we got to go right now. You cannot be in here with this stuff on. I like went nuts. I can't believe I was there when he missed it. That was the most amazing thing ever. I loved every second of that. Every second.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. What about you, Ferg? Like, do you have a live moment?
Let me tell you about me in football. Clint and I both share a Carolina basketball love as well. Clint goes to Carolina games. He goes to all sort of Carolina events. If I am a fan of your team, and my children can tell you this, I do not watch with anyone. I do not talk to anyone. I do not leave my designated space, because I have found that in the last 6 to 7 years, when I leave my space,
something bad
unbelievable things happen to us, such as
you are the reason.
Such as Villanova hitting the last 3-point shot as I'm in the bar celebrating.
Stop.
Such as us having a chance to make the playoffs and getting blown out at New England, which is probably going to happen again this year for Miami. I just don't go. I have, even with my Hurricane.
My cousin, I have a cousin that was at that Bills and Tennessee game, and he was in the bathroom because he was like, we lost. They just got to kick the beat. He missed the Music City Miracle. He said it sounded like a plane came over the state.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he missed it. He was taking
the last time I watched a University of Miami game and I was not at home.
Oh my gosh.
Was when we lost to Ohio State in the national championship game. That's the last time that I watched.
And it was your fault because you weren't at home.
I do not leave home when my team play.
Look, you sound like Jay. You sound like Jay, man. Jay's the same way. Like,
story. I'll tell you this. This is an honest true story, because we're all friends. There's no secrets here. I got a ticket and got locked up the night that the first time that the Celtics played the Lakers. Last time when we won the KG championship, I got bailed out. And I was like, it was like, let's watch the game. The bar's right here. No, I have to get home. Don't tell me the score. Don't tell me anything. We made it home. We won the championship. I get a year to talk shit to all my Laker fans, blah, blah, blah.
I respect it. I'm very
We come back the next year. I go to a nest of Lakers to get to talk shit. What happens? Kendrick Perkins gets hurt. We lose. Fucking Ron Artest hits 3-pointer. We lose to the Lakers. Celtics have been shitty as shit since then. We trade KG, we trade Rondo, we trade Pierce. This is why I have no live stories. I have been to games, but I go to games where I have no vested interest, like just for the knocking off my bucket list.
This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun. But first, because I want to go back. I want to go back to this conversation, Ferg, because I want to. Superstitions is a part of sports, right? Yes. I want to talk about that for a second. No. But Ian, live sporting event, favorite live sporting event moment football wise.
I gotta tell you, I'm kind of like Jeff here. I don't go to a lot of live games, so a favorite moment has to be a televised one for me. And as a card carrying Cowboy hater, I think the only 2 words that I have to say to get this moment across, and I hope you appreciate it, is Don Beebe.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Super Bowl. And like Leon let in the Dolphins game, that's wonderful. Yeah. He kicked the snow, whatever. But him getting his ass chased down in the Super Bowl and not getting his touchdown, just as a genuine Cowboy hater, I carry that with me. It's one of my favorite moments.
I get it. Yeah. No, I definitely get it.
I get it.
I mean, we all share the hate of the Cowboys, Ian. This is no secret here. So nobody, I don't know. I don't know if I'm really friends with any Cowboys fans.
Yeah, I'm a
I mean,
card carrying member.
I have family that are Cowboys fans, but I don't think I have any friends that
I
are
think
Cowboys
I might
fans.
have one, but I
am-
live pretty close to DC, so it's not common.
Maybe just some acquaintances.
Yeah.
Maybe some
I can say this. I have some comments on my phone that you can't view on StreamYard from folks back home that are Cowboy fans. And about 12 minutes ago, I got a text and said, "Hey, watch that Cowboy hating shit." So
Nope.
apparently
Nope.
we're the non-Cowboy
Nope.
fans around here,
No.
but there are plenty of
You
them
know,
out there.
I just really don't like Jerry Jones, and so that just takes me
Yeah.
to not liking everybody else. So it's just an apple, and it spreads the virus. So, all right. So let's talk about some superstitions real quick,
man.
because this is going to be a fun conversation. I gotta tell you guys. So
Have
I'm a die-hard Cubs fan. Okay, die-hard Cubs fan, and have been through. Well, you guys know. I mean, even if you don't like baseball, you know the Cubs were the lovable losers. Hadn't won since 1906
Oh, yeah.
or whatever, right? So, my wife we were watching the World Series, and I told her to come in. She came in and sat down and read her book on the couch, which she hadn't done. She left me alone when I was watching baseball, and we were losing 3-0 to the Giants in like the 6th inning in the division series, and so then we won. And I didn't think anything of it, right? But then the next night she sat out here as well, and we won again. And so I was like, you know what has to happen now, right? She was like, are you kidding? And I was like,
You are the
nah.
reason.
I'm like, nah, there's nothing that I'm kidding about at all. So for the World Series, she was like, you're really not going to let me go to sleep. And if you guys didn't watch, how many innings was it? It was 10 innings,
Oh,
but
Jesus,
it was like a ridiculously long game. You had a rain delay that was like 17 minutes or whatever, but the whole, on and off or whatever.
And you're like,
So-
coffee.
Right. So she was like, I don't get to go to sleep. I was like, no. Right.
That woman's a
And
saint.
hey,
Listen
it
to
worked.
you.
Like, what would I have done if I would have said, yeah, it's fine if you go to bed, and then we would have lost? Then that would have been on me, right?
Yeah.
That's divorceable. That's a
Right.
divorceable.
Totally. But luckily, it all worked out, and the Cubs won the World Series in 2016, despite Rajay Davis and Aroldis Chapman's best efforts to foil the plans of Cubs Nation. It all worked out. So now I want to hear about you guys. So whoever wants to go first.
I saw that so I'm people follow the Grateful Dead, et cetera. So I follow Pearl Jam on the same level people follow. So Steve Gleason's a big Pearl Jam fan, and Eddie Vedder, whose birthday was last week, he's a
Eddie Vedder's amazing, die-hard Cubs guy. Yeah,
he actually there's actually that picture behind. That's an autograph from when I hung out.
I
with him.
love Pearl Jam. Huge fan of Pearl Jam.
My
But
dog
I'm old.
so.
So,
oh yeah.
yeah.
I'm 42. So but
You're
so I
young.
brought that out on stage. So Steve Gleason, I was at Wrigley Field. I saw them in 2018. He brought the cup out on stage. Like they let him bring it out with a Cub uniform on, just to be like, yeah, we finally got one. It's pretty cool. And Gleason Steve Gleason, he's a huge fan. He was randomly there on stage too.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
awesome. I the people, the celebrities that are Cubs fans are like cool.
Yeah, they are. Isn't Bill Murray?
Bill Murray, yep.
I mean,
Vince
Bill
Vaughn.
Murray's the ultimate cool
Yeah.
fan of sports. Him and Jack Nicholson, but Jack Nicholson's a Dodgers fan. He's not a,
Lakers fan.
yeah, he's not a Cubs fan. But
Billy Crystal and the Clippers.
I'll give you the Cubs though. Bill Murray and Eddie Vedder alone.
No doubt.
All right, so I'm horrible with superstitions. I have a lot of them. So I also like the Patriots, and I'm 42 now. I'm not sure how I made it to 42 because I guess I would have to say it this way. I was one of those people in high school that didn't drink. I started drinking in college when I was going through hazing to play rugby. So like my mentality on drinking was very different. So I had a lot of had to take shots for certain things for a while. And I took a shot of Jameson the day that Brady tore his ACL. I've not drank the shit since then. That was one of them. Every year, if the Saints don't win or go to the they don't win the Super Bowl, I don't like to wear the same. I get a new jersey each year to get rid of the old one. So this year I have the same Archie Manning jersey. I didn't get a new one. Look at what happened. So I got to change that out. I don't wash my jersey during the season. the dog. Lucan has a Saints band, and she's also got she have a husky. The markings in her forehead are actually a Florida leash. She has her own bandana she has to wear when the game starts. Got the beads, and then we have to do the chant at the beginning of every game.
I mean, of course you do. You know, I mean, it's you know, if you don't, Lauren, who will? Right.
That's right. Yeah. And
right.
the drinking, you know, there's certain shots, like I'm not so much now, I'm older, but I used to have, like, you know, Irish car bomb had to be done on the first, whenever we agreed to get this, that, or that. Oh yeah. It was bad.
Did you ever actually see the end of a game?
Great.
I used to be
able to have a lot better time. I also am really good at chugging beers. Maybe I'll do that sometime.
Well, Lauren, let me ask you this. We have certain people. So Carolina Duke is a big thing.
Yeah.
Right?
See, we all hate Duke up here.
So this is a big thing that, like, my friends and I, we get together at my friend's house that lives pretty close to freaking Duke's campus. And like, we have certain people that are not allowed at the house to watch these games. Do you have people that are not allowed over or allowed to watch games with you or talk to you during games?
I don't like to talk to anyone. So if it's an important game, I actually would rather watch playoff games by myself because I get so it's like upsetting. Like I'll be pissed for like 2 weeks. Like that dirty hit in that Saints Rams game. Like there was no talking to me for at least 2 weeks. So I'd rather be alone so I can throw and scream and whatever. And nobody's
well, shit. Monday night after Ian Book threw that pick six, you said shit. You said F this. I'm not watching it anymore.
I was pissed.
That was pretty great. Ferg, have you added Ian to this chat yet? That needs to you need to make sure that gets done before the.
I gotta add him in. To piggyback off of Lauren, though, I'm the same way with the jerseys. Like I have tons of jerseys, sweatshirts, all sort of stuff. This right here, this green one, this is one of my children's jerseys right here. So every game day, every Sunday, we got to go to game jerseys. We got to wear the jerseys. We win, we got to wear the jerseys afterward. After school the next day. We lost 7 in a row. So we stopped wearing the jerseys and we won. So then I left them alone. Again the next week. I was like, I'm lazy. I don't want to iron clothes this week. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the jersey out. No, we want to get next week. So the jerseys have not been worn physically since we started winning.
Right.
They have not seen the day of light. They will not go outside. No. I have to leave everything
as they should.
And I mean, the divine one told me this is how we're going to make the playoffs. So I'm going to leave the jerseys alone. Anything can be a superstition when it comes to football. Like, I don't like if I'm sitting on the sofa and we score, no, I can't get up. Somebody can be, hey, can you get us something to eat? You can eat at 4:30 when the game is off.
Hey, like, Ferg, let me ask you a question. Do you remember 1999?
Nope.
Round of 32 NCAA tournament. We were playing Stanford and Mark Madsen and all them boys. Like, you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. So we were down early in that game, and then I moved over to the chair at my mom's house, right? And then we started coming back, and then like even though I had to piss, I was like, I can't get up. Like, because we kept on scoring and we kept on coming back. And hey, man, I mean, we ended up winning.
Please tell me you weren't drinking beer.
You're welcome.
No,
I was not. I decided not to drink anything because I was not moving.
Okay,
right? So you're welcome, Tar Heel Nation, for that trip to the Final Four. That was on me. So you're welcome,
dude. If me getting up
before we go to Ian's superstition,
I would do it.
We gotta jump. We gotta jump over to Lauren's sister in the comments, though.
Oh yeah.
I can't see it. So.
I can see it.
Lauren's sister in the comments. This is as a parent, you know, you want to love and nurture on your children, but sometimes you just want to smack the shit out of them.
Oh yeah.
And Lauren's Monday night was me taking out my kid from the playoffs.
Yeah,
boom in the John. She gets the John, man. We haven't even got the Madden yet, but she gets
we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah, she did.
Yes, Vanna. Nothing like just smacking one of your own children around.
Good for you, Vanna. That's what you know. I mean, they have to know who's still in charge every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can play nice and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's that wooden stick that you get chased around with. You know what I'm saying? Or the little wooden spatula, if you will.
Oh, jeez.
I will assume that Aiden did not collude enough with anyone to get a good enough team to make it to the championship game in Lawrence.
Those boys.
He has been full of collusion. Waiver manipulation, one-sided grab.
And it's out there. He says, "Is it okay if I trade my players for him?" And
is it okay?
His defense
us for colluding.
He was going to split the money with his brother, so like he did go through the proper channel. He was
like this was in the work like 8-9 weeks ago.
He is that kid that
like
he's so honest, and he's like the sweetest kid, and he's super like I see him do stuff all the time. Like he's like constantly going out of his way to do stuff for people, and he like legitimately was like. I could see going through the process of like, oh well, this will be okay because it's like my brother. I love him. We'll do this together as a team. Like he would have not
the money.
But then when he did me, then the next week I said, hey man, can you tell your brother to set his lineup? Because if I lose this week, I'm screwed. He wrote back, no, that's collusion. I said, no. I see that, son. I see what you did.
I think that this is borderline racketeering, some kind of RICO act. Something needs to be investigated. We need a congressional investigation into what Eden up. And then mom says they're going to donate the money to the
they're going to donate the money.
So now you stolen money from homeless people, Lauren, by making him set his lineup and not make it to the championship. Okay. All right. All right. The commission's in our comments. The commission says he's watching from Vegas. His moment was on piggybacking with Ian. His moment was Leon Litt looking stupid, letting Don Beebe catch him for a potential strip 6. That's one of my favorites as well. Leon Litt. That's Leon Litt at the old Dallas Coliseum in the snow. Is that the snow game when they had the roof?
No, that was the Super Bowl. That was the Super Bowl. That was Super Bowl 33.
No, I'm thinking of Leon Litt touching that field goal that got missed.
That was versus Miami. Yeah, that was
Dallas and Miami.
That was a Thanksgiving game. That was a Thanksgiving game.
Leon has been in the midst of a lot of bullshit, I see.
I just want to give a shout out to Merle. Looking forward to beating you on Sunday.
That's like a low key brag, really.
Humble brag like that.
So we're waiting on Clint to come back, but we like I said, we kind of try to have some fun. Doing some little different stuff that we're doing normally tonight.
I got one more for you, though. That's pretty bad. Superstition.
Okay.
So Samantha played fantasy football for the first time this year. We did a team together, and I let her grab my Archie Manning jersey and I said, if she had it over the weekend. I said, if the Saints lose this weekend, you're never allowed to touch that jersey again. Straight up, never allowed to touch that again. You
have to buy her own. You have to buy her own.
I'm going to have to next year because I have to get another one because mine's tainted and dirty from 2 years of crap. So I think we're going to go Gleason next year.
All right. So I think that we are all, I won't say we're all close in age. I might be older than all of you. I'm not sure. But we touched on Madden for a moment. And I haven't had a chance to see the documentary. But as we were talking the other day about Madden, I wonder, do you have anything that you remember particularly about Madden? Because it struck me when I was listening to something earlier on TV that it's like a group of people in the world that know Madden because he coached football. And when I heard that, I think it was Skip Bayless gave his record this morning on TV. I was like, that was fucking incredible. I did not know that John Madden was like 130 and 30 and 7 in 10 years of coaching. Like they should be mentioning his name. Landry, Shula, those guys like that. But then there's a whole nother group of people that know the turducken and boom and everything that comes on TV. And then there's a whole other group of people like my kids. Like my kids only know Jordans to be shoes. Like Michael Jordan could probably knock on our front door and they'd be like, "Is that the DoorDash guy?" They don't know who the fuck Michael Jordan is. There's a whole group of people that only know Madden video games. Like they would not know John Madden if he if he had his hands around their neck, they'd be, oh, you the video game guy. I didn't know that. So what do you know about Madden? Tell me something good. Your memories of Madden, something that you think of when you hear Madden.
So I'll go first. So John Madden was Monday Night Football, for a while, and so it's not only that, but it is the video game, because I did grow up playing that video game from 1994, on Sega. You know what I mean? Like it was such an innovative, video game, and his voice was so much the video game, and so him commentating, and not so much coaching, because I'm not that old, you know what I mean? But seeing his record, it's like, you averaged 10 wins, you averaged 10-3 season, bro. That's phenomenal, right? That's fantastic in the NFL. But that's my real extent of John Madden, is the commercials and the video games and the commentating. So he was fantastic, and he was great for football. And his voice was one of the great ones for sure.
So John Madden was, for people that are, I know Laura and I are pretty close in age. I know me and Jeff are pretty close in age. Clint, I have no idea how goddamn old you are.
I'm 42. Jeff's old as fuck. So
I'm Peter John Pan. Madden was one of the only people that's actually been the lead commentator on like 4 different networks. He goes back as far as when the NFC was televised on CBS, his days with, Pat Summerall. And then they moved together to Fox when Fox took over in 93, 94, something like that. And then he did Sunday Night Football with Al Michaels, and he did Monday Night Football. When Madden the games came out, I was one of those people that hated them, because I was a Tecmo Bowl truist. Ooh, it was Tecmo, yes. It was Super Tecmo. That in college days, that was our shit, and I resented Madden for trying to, for taking away. I never knew Madden as the coach. So hearing these stats, 130 and 30 and 7, are just magnanimous. I mean, he was a coaching god. I remember him from, his commentating days. I'm not really a gamer, so I don't play like online Madden with people in Saskatchewan. I don't do that. I'll play it, at home with, my brother or my cousins or whomever. For me, it's Madden, the voice, as Clint said, the turducken. The booms. He is. And the love that everybody has for him. Like, I didn't see the Fox special either. I want to see it. I thought it's amazing that came out like 2-3 days.
2 days ago. 4 days ago.
Before he passed.
Yeah.
Usually you don't see that kind of love coming out for somebody until after they've passed.
Yeah.
And then all of the memories and all of the sharing and all the tweets, all of that coming. This came out beforehand, so I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah.
That Madden was able to see all of that love for him, beforehand.
Yeah.
He's a god. He's a god. I mean, there's no other way.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I watched the FS1, not FS1, but Skip and Shannon earlier today. And they showed some clips from it. One of the craziest things, not craziest, but one of the weirdest things I saw on it was he was watching it the way it's set up, like he's watching other people talk about him. And right. LT was saying basically like he didn't think that he was that good. He thought he was okay. He could be all right. And then he went to the Giants played on a Monday night. He went to the regular production meeting, and Madden was like, but he said the way he described it was like Madden basically christened him. He's like, you have no fucking clue how fucking good you could be. If you just stop fucking around and just play football, you might be the best football player that ever played. And he was like,
stop
after that,
cocaine.
He didn't technically bring up the drug part, but I'm just saying after that, he was like, I'm on it. He was like, John Madden has no idea that if it wasn't a John Madden, he wouldn't have talked to me at that moment. There would be no LT as we know it. And I just think about that because I was like, this is the kind of
Go
effect
Heels.
that this dude had on players and stuff like that. As you, like you said, you read some of those tweets and those stories and how everybody, depending on your age, has a different story or idea of who John Madden is. Yet he's all of them. Merle's writing in the comments. Like I said, I don't know if you guys can see those comments.
No, I
It
cannot.
was actually science of the game for the hardcore fan. That's correct because as when we start playing, 94, 93? I mean, I liked football, and I used, players, and I think that I know what I'm talking about, but I had no idea what cover 2, cover 3 was. All the stuff that other with Gruden talking about the spider X, Y, banana. Until Madden, you would watch on TV, and he would break the play down, and you would be like,
explain it.
I understand that. That's not coach talk. I actually understand that
in layman's terms.
Yeah, but it was football, but it was in like football for dummies.
Football for dummies, right?
Football for dummies. So if you coach 40 years or you was 4 years old, everybody could grasp what the hell he was talking about.
When you're a coach, you're a teacher. So that's that's part of who he was. He had to teach, his linebackers and his quarterbacks and his running backs, his schemes. He had to make them understand. So that just comes naturally. But I mean, how wonderful would it be just to be able to just sit in a room with John Madden and just talk football for an hour?
Yeah, no,
that would definitely be. Bayless tell it though. I wonder if you would even talk football. He says the first time we met the guy, every question he tried to ask him, he flipped it back on him. And it was like, well, where are you from? You went from Oklahoma? Oh, you went to Vanderbilt? Oh, we got a kid from Vanderbilt that plays on our team. We should meet him. And then Skip goes on to talk about, I didn't even know who this guy was. He played football at Vanderbilt. I didn't know he was. And now he's ended up being like one of my 40, 50-year-long best friends because John Madden introduced me to him. And he said we had a whole interview, and I never really talked about football with him. He just talked. He just hung out and talked. I remember seeing that on something else where it said
one of the guys
pull up and they would just take over the hotel and he would just hang out in the lobby and just talk to people. Whoever came through.
John Madden was also like he was like a cultural icon even 20, 30 years ago. Everybody knows the tale that John Madden wouldn't fly. So he had his bus. He had that Madden cruiser, and they would drive. He had his driver. He would drive cross country from San Francisco to New York for the next game, the next week. And they would do exposés just on the bus. Like, here's where John Madden lives for 5 months out of the year. Like, he was more than just he was more than football. He was culture.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, he definitely.
I was thinking that on the way home the other night when I heard it, because I was thinking Madden is a word that it only means one thing when you say it. Like, if it means something other than, we're not talking about John Madden, like, you really got to explain it to somebody. Like, oh yeah, Madden, and you can
like, we're not talking about Steve Madden.
But we wouldn't know that. I thought you were talking about football. I think like Madden is with Jordan. Like, when you say Madden, you say Georgia, I'm gonna Google something. You don't really Google something. You can look something up anywhere. But we all say
Steve Madden.
Carolina. Some good Charlotte with Benji Madden. I'm sure there's some other Maddens in the world that might matter, but Madden means John. It means video.
So in response to Merle's comment there, Vic on Madden 2004.
Wait a minute.
I found a way to stop Vic on Madden 2004. So did Merrill. Merrill's good at the defense.
Can I disagree with that? He said Bo Jackson on Tecmo, but what about
Bo Jackson for sure?
I remember many of Saturdays at Merle's house playing Tecmo Bowl where he would play with the Raiders. But I would play with Kansas City, and the Nigerian Nightmare would run that.
Christian Okoye.
Yeah, no shit. Okay.
Every time. And then they had Okoye and Marcus Allen on that game.
All right. So Merrill, I need you to comment on this and agree with me, please. 2002 Madden Randy Moss was the most unstoppable wide receiver in the history of video games. Other than maybe Jerry Rice and Tecmo Bowl.
He put it in the comments. He put Madden in 03.
No, it was 02, Merrill. It was 02 Randy Moss.
Is that the rookie? Is that rookie year?
No, I don't know. It was 02
No,
Randy
rookie year
Moss.
was like 98.
Bro,
So
yeah, bro.
what's his
02
Patriots
Randy
year?
Moss was nasty. Oh, that was
Patriots
07.
was 2007. That was
Yeah,
their
that was
their undefeated.
Hey, Jeff, why don't you watch the Man in the Arena, man? Just suck it up and watch the Man in
I
the
would
Arena.
never,
Oh God.
never.
So my thing on Madden,
I
you
will-
guys got me in the
I will
feels
braid
talking about
water
it.
before I will watch that.
I'm not watching that shit. I would watch it to see his wife. That's about it. So listening to you guys talk, like, because I have all the same opinions, feelings about Madden, but the thing that just popped in my head is that scene from Dead Poets Society. Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Captain, my
Like,
Captain.
that's John Madden.
Yeah, no doubt. Well summed up that, Lauren, for sure. Hey, so I want to add something to this Madden conversation. So Merrill and I, Merrill made, I think, Merrill, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we started in 01. Maybe we started in 02. But we had a league. No, I mean, I know I had him in all of our things that I'm talking about. So we had, I don't know, I think there was 8 to 10 of us, and we had a Madden league, and Merrill made a trophy that looked like the Super Bowl trophy, like legit made a trophy. He had placards around it for the win for the Super Bowl champs, like years and championships, and like we would have like, because we all kind of worked in the same area, and so we would go to work and then go to this guy's house and play our games and then go back to work and then like tag out, right? And then the other person would go play games and we go back to work.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was like we did this for a hot minute. But Merrill, I got to give kudos to Merrill on this. He would take his time, and dude would make these players that actually came out of college, like import the players coming out of college, and then make new players and like enhance their skills. And then we would draft, like we would all get together for a big draft, and it used to be like the best time. And so that is another big Madden memory. It's a big part of my life because it was during my my early 20s, like early 20s. So it was fantastic. So shout out to the commish for all that.
Well, they were playing Madden, I was changing diapers, but you know this.
Hey, so was I, bro. I was also working.
I was changing diapers. They was playing. I was changing.
I was changing. Remember, Layla was born in 02. So
I was probably
we were all
somebody
changing
out of school by then. We was dropping people out of school by that age.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. Oh, Antonio Freeman was a beast.
Says Antonio Freeman was a beast. He was a beast on that game. He was a beast.
He was a beast. He was a beast. And so there was a lot of like really, really hard to stop people on Madden. You know, you can throw Ray Lewis into that. You know, I mean, obviously Michael Vick, Randy Moss. You know, all those guys. So all right, so let's switch this to fantasy just real quick. Who do you guys need to step up big in fantasy this week for you guys to take home the championship? Who do you guys need? And if there's any questions that, if you have a question about if you should play this person over this person, we'll talk about it. I would say we've been on here for about an hour and 2 minutes. Let's go for another 13, 15 minutes top. So let's take some questions if there is any. Okay. And let's talk about what we need.
I got a question.
All right.
One I think I posed it earlier, but Clint might not have been in the middle of it. All right, so I'm in the championship game. Both of us are basically estimated to score the exact same amount of points if you play on the Yahoo app. I'm at 170.02. He's at 170.15. My running backs are shit. I'm not even going to get into that. We'll just play whoever we got to play. But my wide receivers, I think, are the best bunch of wide receivers in this league. I start Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and I have T. Higgins on the bench. And we just watched T. Higgins score 40 points last week. I have to start 3 of those 4. I think I heard Clint and Lauren's opinion on this earlier today, if they want to tell the people in the world what their opinion is or if it has changed. But I need to know. Tell me which you start. Because my running backs suck. So that means all 3 wide receivers I play.
So here's the question. Do you trust Joe Burrow for another week? There's a question. Another question.
Is this the Chase Waddle?
If you do trust Joe Burrow, the question really is, Ferg, what it really comes down to is, do you have the balls to not start Diggs? So it's not about anything else. do you have the balls to not start Diggs? Because that's really the only question with this lineup, right? Do you have the balls to not start Diggs? Because the draft capital is a bitch, but at this point, draft capital doesn't mean shit.
I don't.
But Diggs has been consistent.
I'm not even gonna lie. I don't.
Diggs has been consistent. He just doesn't have any touchdowns.
So one of my not rules, but one of the rules that I try to govern my teams by, when it comes down to hard decisions, I always go by, well, when we did this in August, who the fuck did you think was better in August?
Yeah.
Diggs was my first player that I drafted in this league.
Absolutely.
And then on my wraparound, I went fuck running back, and I went Tyreek.
I remember.
No one knew at that time Cup was going to be Cup that he is this year. And then I came back around and got Cup because I was like, damn, all the running backs suck. So I'm just at the point now where I'm going to be like, you know what? Fuck a running back. I'm just going to have
the same thing in Hoopnagel.
And the T. Higgins thing was just a throw-in. So, but my thought was, if I'm thinking, and I've been watching, he's still a number one. He's still really that dude. Josh Allen really been the one fucking up. Stephon Diggs is really that dude. And they're playing Atlanta. Can you afford to be like, I hope Tyreek gets 24. I hope that they don't blow. That Baltimore pass game is not so shitty that damn Patrick ain't scored 30 points by halftime. And then they're just trying to run the goddamn clock out and make sure nobody don't get hurt.
But see, here's the thing, though, Ferg. So if Patrick Mahomes goes 30 points at halftime, who's going to get most of that? Because if Kelsey's just coming off COVID, and to Ian's point, normal people, Ian, you don't play coming off COVID. Travis Kelsey, you kind of have to play. I mean, unless you have like a Mark Andrews.
You absolutely have to. But
you have to play him. But to your point, he's probably not going to be as effective. So who do you think is going to get those points? Right?
So this is Diggs over Higgins that we're talking at this point?
I think that's the only question. I don't think Tyreek Hill's in that conversation.
I was going to go with Ian McKenzie in DFS when I heard that unvaccinated McGee was going to be out. But that's only when unvaccinated. But so I guess unvaccinated McGee is going to be playing this weekend. So then you got Gabriel Davis, dipshit, and Ian McKenzie's like, is Josh Allen going to spread the ball around that much?
Yeah. Well, so I mean,
Davis gets the red zone look, but Diggs is the dude between the 20s. I just don't know if Atlanta can put enough pressure up to force them. But Buffalo, technically,
in DFS,
for some odd reason, they don't want to run the ball unless it's Josh Allen getting his ass tore up running the ball. They have like 5 running backs on this team. They won't run them.
Singletary has had serviceable weeks the last 2 weeks, though. I mean, he's had touchdowns the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's been, I think, 50 yards in a touch and 60 yards in a touch the last couple of weeks.
I mean, he's definitely been serviceable for flex. Like a supercomputer where we could see like how Yahoo tells you every week that Zach Moss or Singletary is going to score like 10, 11 points. I would be interested in seeing how many weeks that they actually scored that 10 or 11 points. Because they just like Buffalo, no matter what, it's like, you know what? We just gave this dude $150 million. We're gonna fucking throw the ball. We want to be Jim Kelly in a division where if you just got down and dirty and just started running the ball, you would probably go 14-2.
That the Cincinnati Kansas City games because I'm banking on that game being a shootout.
Yeah, so is everybody, I think, and that's why
Ian said you cursed the shootout and now it's going to be 6-3.
So right. So
that's what Ian said earlier.
While we're hearing from Ian about what he needs this week, can you pull up my lineup in Hoofnagel so we can talk about that? And figure out who I should put in my flex. So, Ian, what say you for this weekend?
So, my biggest quandary is in my one league that is my 15-year league. I lost DeAndre Hopkins. I traded for David Montgomery mid-season. I traded away Damian Harris and a 2 and picked up Monty. So I'm starting Zeke. I'm starting Monty. I don't know if I want to start James Conner or if I want to start Devin Singletary.
I would start Conner.
Decent. Conner, that heel scares me.
Dude, I know, man, but Conner has. Dude, you got it. It's one of those things, bro. It's one of those things. You got to start Conner because let me ask you a question. Ian. So if we've talked about this before on the show. How would you feel if you lost, if James Conner had a really good game and he was on your bench, or let's say he had 16 points and Devin Singletary had 6 points, and you lost because of that margin, how would that feel? Versus how would it feel if you lost with James Conner getting 6 points and Devin Singletary being on the bench with 15 or 16 points?
I
So
mean,
that's the real question.
it would suck either way.
Right, but
mean,
do you lose? How do you feel if you lose with the second leading touchdown rusher in the NFL on the bench?
But who's Singletary's competition right now?
I mean,
Zach Moss.
Zach Moss has
Matt
been
Breida.
Zach Moss has been a healthy scratch 2 out of 3 weeks, and again, it's Atlanta. It's the same
no shit.
thing
No, I mean, I get it. I get it.
So, like James Conner last week made it really easy for me because last week I had, and I still do have, Justin Jackson on this roster, and I fought it all week. Do I start Conner? Do I start Jackson? It's so hard to bench Conner. Jackson's an unknown, and then Conner was inactive. It made it really, really easy.
So, did you hear? By the way, did you hear this week? Guyton and Mike Williams aren't playing, so Justin Jackson still has real value. Oh, is he back?
Yeah, he's because I just put him in a DFS lineup tonight.
Okay, so Mike Williams isn't back, so maybe with Guyton being there, that lowers Justin Jackson's value a little bit, but I still think he has PPR value for sure. So, but I would go James Conner.
Let me give you something to go back to Ian's thing about the Singletary, like Singletary versus Conner. I think this is sometimes you say you would go Conner.
Yep.
Sometimes I make my decisions based on real football. And in real football, I see this guy's been on the injury list, and I think about everything in the organization. I think about the GM and everything that they're thinking of. And I'm thinking, do I let James Conner go out here and look like a superhero when he's on a 1-year, $1 million deal? Or do I got to go out here and make Chase Edmonds look good because I just gave him $4 million a year and he only had
it doesn't matter though, Ferg, because when Chase Edmonds was there, he was still doing the same thing.
I can't remember the team that was on the news the other day, but it was a team and it was somebody, they were talking about how the coach isn't really the coach. The GM is calling from upstairs sometimes and he's saying, you got to do this. You better do this. I'm speaking for the owner. He said, do this. And I think sometimes some of these office decisions play out on the field. And I could really see one of those things where this dude tells Kingsbury, okay, this motherfucker's getting $4 fucking million a year. We still owe him another $2 million. Run the shit out of the ass. Especially with Arizona when they already have clinched. They're going to be in the playoffs regardless. So now it's about making other people look good.
But you also have to keep in mind with Conner, and this is what scares me, is that the Cardinals want to win the division. And in order to win the division, they have to start playing better offensively. Now, Edmonds had like 27 touches last week, had like 36 points, and Kyler Murray has sucked in the last 4 weeks. If the Cardinals are going to do anything, they need Kyler running. They need Kyler running. And I think Kyler running is vulturing both Conner and Edmonds.
Right.
But I'm going to take this same question one step further, because on this same team, I have to pick 2 wide receivers out of Christian Kirk, Odell Beckham, Colt Beasley, who, by the way, as much as I hate him, I love him in PPR.
Love him.
And T.Y. Hilton, who did really well last week.
Yeah.
So let's stay away from scratching off T.Y.
I'd stay away from T.Y. You don't know what's going on with that Colts quarterback situation. You stay away from T.Y.
Touche. Good point. Good point.
I mean, you could have a high school coach throwing him passes in a few days. I mean, so you definitely want to stay away from the fact that Phillip Rivers may be the Colts quarterback on Sunday.
I like
Kurt. Sam Erlinger.
I like Kurt. Every time that we talk about Kurt and I don't play him, he goes off.
Yeah.
Every single time we have mentioned him, and I still I'm gonna stick with what I know.
I have to play Kirk. I have to play Kirk because I handcuffed him with Hopkins earlier in the season because Hopkins kept getting hurt.
Okay.
So I think I have to play Kirk. Do you trust Odell?
Yes.
Against
Really?
Baltimore, I trust anybody catching the ball against Baltimore.
That's
For
true.
sure.
No,
That's what I was about to say. So
With Van
yeah,
Jefferson
I would.
there,
Hold on though. It's in
Dude,
Baltimore.
no.
Weather.
Odell's been a touchdown machine since he's been there, man. He has 4
Yeah, but
touchdowns
he's
since
so
he's been in LA.
touchdown dependent. Without the touchdown,
No,
he's
I don't think so. I mean,
mean,
because he's 5 for 63 and a touchdown, or 7 for 86 and a touchdown. You know what I'm
It's
saying?
Again, but to point to what you just said again, real football overlapping goddamn fantasy football. We just gave away a ton of shit from you. This guy has to get the ball.
He has to get the ball. He's like
has to
Antonio
work
Brown.
because we have no draft picks. We got to bring this guy
Agreed.
back next year. This is where real
Agreed.
football kind of overstamps fantasy. So if you thought that Odell shouldn't get but 2 or 3 targets, he's going to get 8 or 9 targets because the GM
he's going to get 8 to 10 targets.
that he looks good by being like, look at me. I brought Odell in the middle of the year.
Yep.
I didn't know Robert Woods was gonna go down, but I still look like a fucking genius.
I'd go Odell and James Conner. Those would be my.
Put down the scissors, man. You're scaring me. Put down the scissors.
We've had rain. We've had rain for the last 2 days, and I just checked, and it's supposed to be raining on Sunday too. So I'm 15 minutes from the stadium, so I'm just gonna.
So one more. So A or B? Is Davis Mills for real?
Yeah.
Or can you start the 49ers defense at home versus Houston?
Yes to both questions.
I picked up the 49ers
3
weeks ago for this game.
Yeah, so we talked about this, Ian.
My defense.
We talked about this on here. Yeah. So I am lucky enough to have the Pats defense this weekend.
Yeah.
During the fantasy championship, so that I did on purpose. And my other choice was the Niners. But Davis Mills, he was told that he was given the reins, right? He was saying, hey, he was given the word, hey, we're gonna see what you got. And if it's good enough, then we're not gonna draft a quarterback. Right. So they literally came out and said that. So and this dude's been lights out. Like every time I started him, because up until last week I was in the playoffs, and so I started Davis Mills like the last 2 weeks of the year, and then the 2 weeks in the fantasy. And Ferg, you're not in this league with me. It's a 2 quarterback league. Dude got me 35 points a week. So and he's throwing 2 touchdowns a week for 275 yards, and
that's all you need.
Yeah. I mean, he's playing well. So the answer to both of those questions is yes, because the Texans are still terrible. But if it's based on it depends on how your defense is scored. So if your defense is scored on giving up long passes, 30, 40 yards, Brandon Cooks is good for a couple of those, right?
He's on COVID.
So, he's on COVID protocol. So, you're not giving up a lot of long runs. Lance Burkhead will get you out of the backfield for a couple, but I mean, yes to both questions, Ian.
All right.
So
let me give the commissioner's response because it's not on the screen up here.
All right.
Let's just go ahead and admit he's an admitted Odell hater. He hates Odell.
Yeah,
he's a Giants fan. He hates Odell. So the commission says that if you start Odell, Van Jefferson's going to get 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
That's probably true.
That's my fear.
That's what the commission says.
That's probably true because I started Van Jefferson last weekend and he got me nothing. So
nothing.
There was that. All right. So Ferg, what does my team look like? What choices do I have to make for my flex?
Let me jump back over here. All right. So your team is starting this week. You're going to start Rodgers.
Yes.
Chase, Mooney, Aaron Jones. You have Swift in your starting lineup. You have Mark Andrews. But currently in your flex spot, you have Deontay Harris, and he is on the COVID list at the moment, but he's also your most highest predicted point scorer.
But he's supposed to come off the COVID list, right, Lauren? Have you heard anything about this, Saints fan?
That one I haven't. Oh no, he's Deontay Harris. I thought it was DUI.
No, he's on the COVID list.
COVID-19 is what he's like now. So
yeah, he's on the COVID list, and he's supposed to come
DUI
off
last week or something.
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
Suspended.
Before
Yeah,
we came on the air and with other people, Clint has hedged his bet on his flex spot because he has all the waiver wire pickups that you would hear about on any other show anywhere.
Yep.
They're
All of
all on his bench. He picked them
All
all
of
up. He has Rex Burkhead.
Yeah.
He has the Jacksonville kicker. Running back. He has Boston Scott. He has Duke Johnson. He has
Yeah.
Justin Jackson.
Yes.
And we have no idea what the health status is of Jamal Williams, but he has them too. He has no wide receivers. He just
No
loaded
wide
up
I don't need any wide receivers. I have wide
one
receivers.
spot for one game. His favorite kicker, Tyler Bass, that he expounded on for like 3 weeks.
Tyler
at the beginning of the
Bass.
season.
I
And
dropped
then
his
he was able, and Hofnagel, because I'm not on the waiver wire, or I would have taken this, he was able to slide New England's defense in against Jacksonville, who's basically predicted to score more
Brilliant.
points than everyone on his team except his quarterback. So,
Yeah.
he
Hey,
his
by the
setup
way,
was
Ferg,
success.
I've had the New England defense for about 7 weeks, and it makes you feel better.
So he's
So-
set up for success. Now he is playing against, let's see who.
I'm predicted to win by like 4 points or 5 points, but I need to take Deontay Harris
By
out of my
6.
flex,
You
and
do.
I need to know if I need to play Burkhead or what's his name, the Jacksonville running back,
Ogunbowale.
Ogunbowale,
Ogunbowale.
or
Boston Scott.
Boston Scott. Yeah. So I think we need to know more about the Jordan Howard situation first. We
I
know
don't think
Miles
Howard
Sanders is playing.
plays.
I don't think Howard plays either, and I think if Howard doesn't play, then Boston Scott has to be the play, right?
I mean,
Well,
I
that's
thought
Jalen
that a
Hurts.
couple
I
weeks ago
mean,
screwed me.
Boston Scott is
Yeah.
is your first and second down play. Again, Kenny
Right.
Gainwell scares me on third down.
Sure.
Wally, I think, is the 3-down back this week. in
He is, but they're
Jacksonville,
playing at New England.
but it's at New England. Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
I mean, if that PPR volume, I mean, he caught 8 passes last week. So if it's that PPR volume out of the backfield, Trevor Lawrence,
Yeah.
quick dumps,
It's half point PPR, and so did
Mm.
Justin Jackson. Justin Jackson caught 8 passes for 98 yards last week, but there was no Austin Eckler, and there will be this week. So,
Justin
Yeah.
has in the comments. That's a good one.
what
I
happened?
looked
I like Clint in this game right here though, because even if the rest of their team, depending on what he does with his flex, I don't like JE starting Dallas defense against Arizona. I don't like
Yeah.
that. Even with a pick or two, Arizona could still score 40
Dallas
points.
has been
I
playing
don't
lights
like
out
that.
defense. Don't
That
don't
could
make
be
me
the
defend
shootout,
Dallas.
As
I feel
opposed to the
icky.
KC Cincinnati game, this
I
could
feel
be the
icky.
shootout. The Dallas Arizona game could end up being the shootout of the weekend.
Let's move on. I feel bad about myself having to defend Dallas and saying that they've been playing lights out defense recently.
But you're
So-
playing against Dallas defense though.
I know. It sucks. Chase. Easy
Chase.
question. Move on. You
think
have to
so?
start Jamar Chase.
Even with Mooney playing against
Have-
the Giants at home.
Don't care. You
Don't
have to
care.
start Jamar Chase. It's another one of those things.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
are you-
just thought that was interesting. 'cause that's
Are
interesting.
you going to lose? Like, do you feel better losing with Mooney on your bench or Jamar Chase on your bench? If Jamar
Yeah, I
Chase
agree.
goes off, Jamar Chase is supposed to go off, right? Mooney is not supposed to go off. Justin Fields is his quarterback, or Nick Folk is his quarterback, or Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if Andy Dalton's is his quarterback, maybe this is a different decision. Because if Andy Dalton is his quarterback, he threw to Mooney more. Mooney was a better.
Oh,
Well, I don't know. Fields did. a
This
good
will be
job
the
too.
week. This will be
Fields
the
can't
week. This will be the week in Chicago where he who shall not be named finally goes.
I thought
You
know
shut
what?
your mouth, Ian.
I'm putting
Shut your
him in
fucking
a
mouth.
DFS lineup on purpose because I was like,
Yeah.
this dude has to. That's it. He's getting his own DFS lineup.
Yeah.
That I
I
have
If
to.
that happens, I resign. I'll never come on here again.
Ian, you need to hush
I'll never
your
come on the show.
whorish mouth. Your
I'm
filthy,
putting
whorish
him in
mouth.
I'm putting him in a
Filthy.
lineup.
You
Don't you ever
filthy
say that again.
I
pirate
didn't use
hooker.
his name. I said he who shall not be. He's like Voldemort.
We all know who you're talking about.
I didn't say
He will
anything.
never.
We all know who
If you
you're talking
say-
about. But
Now,
Justin,
I'm gonna hold
definitely
him
go
as a
Jamar
keeper, though,
Chase.
in my other league, though. I'm gonna hold him.
Justin, definitely go Jamar Chase. If Mooney scores 20 and Jamar Chase scores 10 because and Jamar Chase and that difference loses you the game, you have to be okay with losing with starting Jamar Chase. Like he is.
I find that interesting that Clint says that because he owns Chase and
I do. I
those
own
are
both
his
of them.
starting wide receivers.
They are my
He's
two
chosen
starting
one over
receivers.
the other.
But I would like if it was a choice of starting Jamar Chase or like Mooney was forever, like until I had some unfortunate incidents injury wise and Calvin Ridley and all that. Darnell Mooney was my flex and maybe my flex depending on who Jamal Williams was playing or if DeAndre Swift was healthy or whatever. But now Darnell Mooney is starting for me and my number one receiver who's in that top wide receiver spot because I give him that respect is Jamar Chase. And I was the number 2 seed overall in the league of people that have been doing it for 20 years. And I'm in the championship game against the number 1 seed. So
I agree with you. I'm just saying it's an interesting question because of the matchup.
And it definitely is an interesting question because the Giants suck.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So we can all agree with that. All agree with that. But again, it's just the Tom Brady question that your sister, we were talking about a few weeks back. You can't lose with Tom Brady on your bench. You just can't.
Not the number 1 fantasy class, so you can't. No.
Yeah, you just can't. You just can't. Okay, so I can't see the comments. So before we end this, because I'm hungry. So before we end this, is there any other questions that we need to answer? Because I'd be happy to talk about those.
No, it looks like Justin was the last one in there.
Yep. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Justin, thank you for the victory last week. It is appreciated.
All right, so Ian. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Ferg, good luck, sir. Who are you playing in the Lucky 13 finals?
I think I'm playing David, aren't I? Is that David?
Are you playing David?
I don't know who is Yabo. I don't know who that is.
Oh no, that's Kurt. He beat me.
Who is Kurt?
Kurt, he beat me. He's Dave's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he beat me in the dude. Like it was close. He's the one that beat David, and David had Burrow.
Oh, he's the one that scored the 210 points.
Yeah, exactly. And so good luck to you, Ferg and Lauren. I'm sorry, but you know what you can do this week? You can be a fan.
I want
DFS.
Sure. DFS. Oh shoot, we didn't even talk about DFS.
We got to talk about it next week.
Yeah.
Next week
we'll talk about it. We can get into DFS next.
Lynn's hungry.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about DFS. We were okay.
We got into Madden. It's cool.
Yeah, no, we definitely got into Madden. However, you know what you guys could do? I mean, you guys could ask because I know nothing about DFS, but I do want to learn. So if you guys want to coordinate with Merrill or Danye and say, hey, if you guys got 15, 20, 30 minutes on like a Thursday or a Friday or a Monday, to jump on and talk about DFS, you can record something for YouTube and throw it on.
We could. I did take Merrill's suggestion. I don't set my lineups anymore until Saturday, Sunday, especially right now, and that's actually helped a lot. But yeah, no, we definitely.
Yeah.
You got to really wait right now.
Laying down your knowledge.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, that would just add to the brand for like we were talking about last night. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So. All right, so to everybody out there in Fantasyland that has a championship game this weekend, good luck for everybody that's playing in the semifinals this weekend. Get a better league, but good luck. And to those that are not in a championship game this weekend, have fun watching football. Be a fan. If you play some DFS, throw a little bit of money, but be a fan this weekend. Root your teams on if you have a chance. There are probably still 22 teams out there that can that have a chance to get into the playoffs. So root your teams on, and we will come back here next week to talk about some football. Happy New Year, everybody! Good luck again. So peace out, Danye. Appreciate you, Kamish. Thank you all for joining.
Thanks, guys.